The top stories tonight in Y News. The Akinito Coalition lays the groundwork for its next civilian caravan to the West Philippine Sea, set to take place in the summer season or the second quarter of the coming year. Speaker Martin Romualdez announces that the House of Representatives is poised to advocate for amendments to the 1987 Constitution in 2024. SMNI hosts Jeffrey Eric Celis and Lorraine Badoy have been released from detention this evening after 7 days of confinement in Batasan, Pambansa. And Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky pleads for continued war aid from the United States, despite hold-up in the U.S. Congress tied to concerns about border controls with Mexico. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, December 12, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Marvi Delphine. First in the news. In the spirit of civic engagement, the Akinito Coalition is already laying the groundwork for its next civilian caravan, set to take place in the summer season or the second quarter of the coming year. Rafaela David, a co-convener of the Akinito Coalition, revealed that the civilian caravan held last Sunday was just the initial phase of their awareness program, and they anticipate amplifying their efforts in 2024.
So nakita naman natin talagang we're trying to raise awareness din sa ginagawa ng China and get the support of more Filipinos through creative means tsaka yung mga mapayapang paraan ng kampanya. So we're hoping to really look at various strategies na we can involve more Filipinos, anumang mga sektor niyan, artist man, business sector, kabataan, fisher folk. So abangan natin yung mga susunod na activities that hopefully will get more fellow Filipinos on board.
Despite encountering challenges in reaching Lawak Island and Ayungin Shoal to personally deliver gifts and supplies, symbolizing their support for fishermen and government frontline workers guarding the Philippines' reefs, the group remains undeterred. The success of their mission, however, was evident as the gifts and supplies managed to arrive on the island yesterday morning.
Baka ano na yung vessel na gagamitin natin next time, baka maganda rin yung medyo pwedeng mag-stealth mode o kaya medyo yung fishing vessel na sanay din dito sa area na ito. And that's something that we're considering. Basta ang mahalaga sa atin, this is an inaugural civilian supply mission. Tuloy-tuloy tayo kasi anumang mangyari, hindi tayo magpapatinag sa China.
The Department of Justice, represented by spokesperson Assistant Secretary Nico Clavano, made an announcement on Tuesday, December 12th. The DOJ stated that they would await the formal request from Senator Risa Hontiveros regarding the issuance of an Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order, or ILBO, against Apollo Kibuloy. This decision comes in the wake of resurfacing allegations of abuse against the religious group led by Kibuloy. According to Clavano, there are pending appeals with the DOJ against Kibuloy, encompassing charges such as libel, rape, and qualified trafficking in persons complaints. The intricate legal tapestry further unfolds as Kibuloy, in an interesting turn, acts as the complainant in an alleged pending appeal on a cyber libel case. After 7 days of confinement within the hallowed halls of Batasan, Pambansa, the host of Sunshine Media Network International, or SMNI, Jeffrey Eric Celis and Lorraine Badoy have been released from detention this evening. This decision follows a unanimous vote by the House Committee on Legislative Franchises in a closed-door special meeting held on Tuesday, December 12, where they chose to lift the contempt order against the two hosts on humanitarian grounds.
Ang desisyon po ay sila po ay papalayain at on humanitarian reasons na sila po ay kapaskuhan. May sulat naman po tayo galing kay Eric na sila humingi ng paumanhin sa kanyang ginawa at nasa committee secretary at meron naman po siyang complied po rin po siya sa pangalan na hiningi po natin na kanyang source sa Senado. At I told him that he mentioned that to me in confidence, no? And I stand by that. No?
Eric Sellers found himself in detention due to the non-disclosure of his Senate source for unconfirmed information regarding House Speaker Martin Romualdez's travel expenses during a committee hearing. Meanwhile, Lauren Badoy faced contempt charges for alleged falsehoods.
Para sa akin, I should be more professional in asserting my arguments, but in a situation kung saan nilulupig at binubusalan ka at ginagamitan ka ng weight ng kapangyarihan, ay hindi po pwedeng makontrol mo ang emosyon mo. Kaya doon ako naghingi ng sorry. But I did not retract, I will not retract ng sinasabi ko ngayon sa inyong harap na may source man o wala ang mamamahayag, may soto law man o wala, ang dapat katungkulan ng Kongreso at ng lahat ng mamamayan, o lahat na nasa pamahalaan, including the President, including the lowest official of the land, is to be transparent.
My expectations were when you fight kasi the CPP, NPA, NDF, you have no expectations. You just embrace it and you just jump, and we were very ready to spend our holidays here away from our family.
The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, reassures the public with a commitment to unwavering compliance. The matter at hand involves the potential intervention by the Supreme Court concerning Smartmatic's plea for a temporary restraining order in their disqualification case. Dante Amento tells us why.
The Smartmatic company sought legal remedy from the court of last resort, the Supreme Court. It is over the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC's, decision disqualifying them from participating in any public bidding for future elections in the country. The COMELEC's longtime technology partner prayed for an issuance of a temporary restraining order, or TRO, to bar the poll body from implementing its ruling. COMELEC Chairman George Erwin Garcia reiterated it was the company's right to ask for recourse.
Tama naman yung ginawa nilang recourse. Ang importante, at least nag-avail sila nung tinatawag na legal process base sa kung ano yung piniprescribe ng ating mga umiiral na patakaran.
Garcia also stressed it is the Commission's position to always abide by the court's decision, but at present, they have not yet received any order from the High Tribunal.
Although ang aming desisyon ay executory, syempre nasa Korte Suprema naman kasi yan. Kung talagang bigla mag-issue ng temporary restraining order o anumang klaseng order, tatalima naman ng COMELEC.
In a message to UNTV News, Smartmatic refused to give further comment on their petition to allegedly respect the law and all parties involved. Petitioner Franklin Isaac, meanwhile, said they are expecting that Smartmatic will ask for TRO from the court. On the question of whether Smartmatic will still have time to participate in the bidding process that would commence on Thursday, December 14, Garcia said,
Ngayon, kung makakahabol pa, tingnan natin kung ano yung mailalabas sa limbawa ng ating kagalang-galang na Korte Suprema. Ang sa amin lang, ginawa na namin yung aming tungkulin, yung aming trabaho, and it's now up to the Honorable Supreme Court.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
In a recent entrapment operation, a purported chief of staff to the Interior and Local Government Secretary Benher Abalos has been apprehended. According to Secretary Abalos, aside from falsely presenting himself as his chief of staff, the imposter is alleged to have been mimicking his voice, soliciting funds from mayors and governors. In fact, the imposter managed to amass over 150,000 pesos from several local government officials. However, Secretary Abalos is quick to clarify that he has no chief of staff by the name of Larry Abalos and vehemently disavows any inclination towards soliciting money. The suspect is now facing charges of identity theft in relation to the cybercrime law, estafa, and spoofing. Beyond the apprehension of the primary suspect, authorities are actively investigating other individuals associated with this syndicate.
I would like to take this opportunity sa mga nakikinig ngayon, kung may manghihingi sa inyong pera. Naku, hindi ako marunong manghingi ng pera, ha? Huwag kayong maniniwala at yung mga ibang mga government. Marami ako nalalaman ng mga tao ng gobyerno, ginagamit din ng pangalan. Usong-uso po ngayon yan.
The House of Representatives, according to Speaker Martin Romualdez, will push for amendments to the 1987 Constitution in 2024. Senior Deputy Speaker Aurelio Dong Gonzales has mentioned that the chamber contemplates the utilization of the People's Initiative as a formidable means to sculpt and mold the very fabric of the Philippine Constitution. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Speaker Martin Romualdez has mentioned the efforts to be undertaken by the August Chamber to revise the 1987 Philippine Constitution. This is to amend the restrictive economic provisions in the fundamental law of the land.
I believe 2024 will allow us again to revisit the whole issue of the Constitution, because I think it's timely that we revisit it, and I said we'd like to focus very much on the economic provisions, but even to get there, we have to look at the procedural aspects of the amendment of the Constitution, so we have to tackle that.
He believes the initiatives to amend the Constitution will be a legacy of the 19th Congress.
And of course, to make sure that the economic provisions are backed up, we would have to also have a story of continuity in government, so that I'd like you to know that we'll be studying this over the break, and perhaps there might be some initiatives even during the break that would prepare us for the ensuing year, and perhaps what could be our legacy in the 19th Congress, which is to review and revisit the 87 Constitution and make it more attuned and sensitive and responsive to the times.
Meanwhile, Senior Deputy Speaker Pampanga 3rd District Representative Aurelio Dong Gonzales said a new resolution will be filed in relation to this when the session resumes next year. He is hoping to pass it before the next State of the Nation Address or SONA of President Bongbong Marcos Jr. Speaker Romualdez, in his speech during an economic briefing in Iloilo on Monday, December 11, mentioned exploring the People's Initiative in amending the Constitution.
We will highly recommend that we embark on a People's Initiative to cure this impasse, so to speak, on how we vote. And I hope that we can undertake this as soon as possible, so we could have some clarity on the procedures. So we would like to amend the Constitution vis-a-vis how we procedurally amend the same. And that's either we vote jointly or separately. We'd like to have that resolved by and through a People's Initiative.
Representative Gonzales pointed out that the House is considering all modes available to amend the Philippine Constitution.
Bagong konstitusyon ng bagong Pilipinas. So, paano ka magtatrabaho kung bagong Pilipinas kung luma yung ating konstitusyon? Kaya that's our objective. Our objective is bagong konstitusyon ng bagong Pilipinas.
According to the 1987 Constitution, there are 3 ways to amend or revise the Constitution. One is the Constituent Assembly, or CONAS, wherein any amendment to the Constitution may be proposed by the Congress upon a vote of 3/4 of all its members. Another is the Constitutional Convention, in which the Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of all its members, call a Constitutional Convention, or by a majority vote of all its members, submit to the electorate the question of calling such a convention. The third is the People's Initiative, wherein the amendments may be proposed by the people through initiative upon a petition of at least 12% of the total number of registered voters, of which every legislative district must be represented by at least 3% of the registered voters. This is the initiative the August Chamber is aiming to push next year. Meanwhile, Bayan Muna Chairman Attorney Nery Colmenares says in a statement that the new attempt at Chacha will not solve the problems of poverty in the country, but will only worsen the economic conditions as it opens up the country to further foreign economic domination. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, Israel vehemently denies allegations of forcing Palestinians into Egypt. Amid the Gaza bombardment, even the specter of hunger looms over the enclave. Against the backdrop of escalating tensions, Hamas militants engage in clashes in Israel troops, further exacerbating an already dire humanitarian crisis. Annie Mancilio will give us the details live. Yes, Annie, good evening.
Good evening, Kathy. On Monday, December 11, Israel denies plans for Palestinians fleeing Gaza into Egypt, while the relief agencies report increasing hunger among the enclave civilians. The Gaza Health Ministry reports 18,205 killed and 49,645 wounded in over 2 months of conflict, with hundreds more casualties since the United States vetoed a United Nations ceasefire proposal. The populated enclave of 2.3 million faces challenges in finding refuge and food. Fighters in Gaza clash with Israeli forces. Israel claims progress in its mission, urging surrender of Hamas fighters. Rockets target Tel Aviv, causing Israelis to seek shelter. Overnight, 32 Palestinians killed in Khan Yunis. Fierce fighting reported in various Gaza areas, including Shejaiya, Sheikh Radwan, and Jabalia. In central Gaza, people moved towards shelters and hospitals received 40 casualties. Israeli naval forces landing attempt thwarted, while airstrikes continue killing at least 15 central and southern Gaza. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed concern about potential mass displacement into Egypt, and UNRWA Commissioner General Philippe Lazzarini suggested attempts to move Gazans toward the border. Jordan accused Israel of trying to empty Gaza of its people. Israel denies this, calling it outrageous and false, stating its defense against attackers on October 7. Resulted in the deadliest attack in Israel's history, killing 1,200 mostly civilians and 240 hostages. UN reports 1.9 million, or 85% of Gaza's population, are displaced facing dire conditions. Citing deaths from hunger, cold, and bombardments, UN World Food Programme noting half of the population are starving. Israel instructed to evacuate aimed at protecting the population. UN Security Council envoys witnessed unimaginable suffering at the Rafah border, urging an end to the war. China's UN envoy emphasizes enough is enough. Israel's defense minister states no intention of permanent stay in Gaza, open to discuss alternative control. Israel plans to screen aid at Kerem Shalom but not fully open to crossing. Hamas, in power since 2007, aims to destroy Israel, accused of using human shields and aid theft, which it denies. Israel, citing security concerns, restricts aid, initiating new screening measures. However, grand offensive continues in Khan Yunis after the collapse of the ceasefire on December 1. Back to you, Kathy.
Thank you, Annie Mancilio, reporting live from Singapore. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been invited to meetings at the White House, where he will be appealing to the senators of the United States for more support for the war against Russia. Zelensky told military leaders and students at the National Defense University on Tuesday, December 12, and that Ukraine hopes to be able to count on the U.S. for support. The next round of U.S. aid has been held up by the divide in the Congress, with Republicans insisting that no more funds should be given unless the tightening of controls on the U.S. border with Mexico is addressed first. The holdup at the U.S. Congress has prompted senior lawmakers in Europe to write a letter stating that military aid from the U.S. is critical and urgent.
A lawmaker says religious leader Apollo Kibuloy will be invited in the impending probe on the allegations of human trafficking, child and sexual abuse. In a press conference, Senate Deputy Minority Leader Risa Hontiveros revealed testimonies from two alleged former members of Kibuloy's religious organization. They claimed that they were forced to work at a young age and were punished for not remitting enough money. There was also a so-called innermost circle where female members are allegedly forced to render service to the religious leader.
Paghahanda ng kanyang pagkain, paglilinis o paglalaba ng kanyang mga damit, pero pati pagpapaligo sa kanya at saka pagmamasahe sa kanya. At sila daw ay inoobligang magkaroon ng sexual relations kay Kibuloy.
Meanwhile, Kibuloy's camp calls Hontiveros' move as a form of deception, further challenging her to bring the issue to court.
Ang ginagawa po ni Senator Risa Hontiveros ay isang panlilin lang. Siya ay aking hinahamon kung tingin mo matibay ang iyong mga testigo, makatotohanan ng sinasabi nila, bakit hindi mo dalhin sa hukuman kung saan patas ang laban, may due process? Bakit gusto mo sa Senado ang paglilitis? Sapagkat sa Senado, lamang na lamang ka, agrabyado kami. Ito ay bahagi ng pattern ng panggigipit, ng haharas sa SMNI at sa mga kawani nito sa Kingdom of Jesus Christ at kay Pastor Kibuloy.
The Nueva Ecija Police Provincial Office has announced the arrest of one of the two gunmen involved in the recent shooting incident inside a Victory Liner bus. The apprehended gunman has been identified as Alan de los Santos, alleged to be a gun for hire. Remarkably, de los Santos was taken into custody on November 20 in Aurora for charges related to sexual assault and statutory rape. According to Nueva Ecija Provincial Director Police Colonel Richard Caballero, De Los Santos has provided substantial information during his extrajudicial confession, shedding light on those who contacted and paid them to carry out the crime.
Well, according dun sa confession niya, in the presence of his lawyer, ninarrate niya yung incident na together with his co-accused, pumunta sila dun sa bahay and accordingly nagbigay na ng one initial na payment in the amount of 20,000. Tapos nagantay na lang sila ng instruction until yung nangyari yung incident kung saan sumakay sila ng bus tapos yung nakita natin sa video na in-execute na nila yung plano nila.
The gravity of the situation unfolds as De Los Santos and 4 others now face 2 counts of murder for the tragic incident that occurred inside the Victory Liner bus in Nueva Ecija on November 15. Meanwhile, the influential group Piston has announced plans to embark on a 2-day transport strike. This decision comes in the wake of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.'s declaration that there will be no extension to the December 31 deadline for franchise consolidation. JP Nunez will tell us why.
The prominent transport group Piston expresses dismay over President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.'s decision to persist with the December 31 deadline for franchise consolidation. This contentious issue revolves around the insistence that individual operators of traditional jeepneys form cooperatives, resulting in a singular franchise for various units of modern jeeps, a proposition vehemently opposed by Piston. Throughout 2023, Piston has consistently voiced their opposition to this idea, culminating in multiple transport strikes.
Marin natin kinukuntina itong pahayag ng BBM na hindi na niya pagbibigyan yung ating public transport. Sa sinasabi nga niya ay wala nang intention,
President Marcos took to social media platform X, tweeting that he had a meeting with transportation officials to underscore the importance of concluding the consolidation by December 31. He relied on the statistic that 70% of operators have already joined cooperatives or corporations. However, according to Piston, this decision may pave the way for a transportation crisis, especially in the National Capital Region where traditional jeepneys are the primary mode of public transportation.
Ang katumbas yan ay ito ay mga mahigit na 50,000 na mga tsuper at 25,000 na mga operator ang mga madadagdag na mawawala ng hanap buhay.
Undeterred by the impending deadline, Piston declares their intent to pursue a 2-day transport strike on December 14 and 15. Meanwhile, the United Transport Consolidated Entities of the Philippines supports President Marcos's decision, asserting that the deadline should not be extended. They emphasized the need for a timely modernization program, citing the delay since its implementation in 2017. Their standpoint underscores the importance of providing commuters with a safe and comfortable passenger experience by modernizing aging jeepneys.
Ang gusto ng pasahero pati, air condition na. Halos hindi na nila sinasakyan ng mga lumang jeep. Tinatangkilik kayo yung mga pasahero namin, yung mga air condition jeep, kaysa kayong mga lumang jeep.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has ordered the creation of Task Force El Niño that will be led by the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDRRMC. The said task force will be a coordinating body to consolidate all measures to mitigate the impacts of El Niño phenomenon. According to Department of Science and Technology, or DOST Secretary Renato Solidum, the President stressed the need to prioritize efforts based on short and long-term interventions of the government.
Ang utos ni President would be to categorize actions into short and medium. Yung short, kaagad-agad. Yung madali, we have to be realistic. So marami namang talagang nakaplano at ginagawa na. We just have to make sure that the coverage would also expand according to the forecast.
The Federation of Free Farmers projects that the price of well-milled rice may reach 60 pesos per kilogram. This projection is contingent upon the absence of a substantial amount of imported rice entering the country. Raul Montemayor, the national manager of the group, highlights the current challenge as the farm gate price of palay has reached 30 pesos per kilogram. The disparity in prices is evident in the market, with well-milled rice tagged as high as 58 pesos for imported and 55 pesos for locally produced.
Kung sa presyo ng palay at 30 pesos, it's very possible that some of the rice will be sold at 60. Yung local traders, nakikita nila na mahal yung imports na either kukunti lang ang papasok o kaya kung pumasok man siya, mahal. So, mas matapang sila na itaas yung presyo ng domestic rice.
In response to this scenario, the Department of Agriculture expresses optimism, aspiring for rice prices to stabilize. This optimism is rooted in the sufficiency of supply and the anticipated arrival of imported rice, a key factor in mitigating potential price surges.
Umaasa kami na sana hindi aabot kasi kagaya na sinasabi namin, okay naman yung supply natin in terms of local production at saka imports. May nasaan pa nga tayo na additional imports coming in ngayong December coming from India. So we are hoping hindi aabot ng 60.
And in other global news, an extraordinary cosmic event is set to captivate the world as an asteroid temporarily obstructs the famous Betelgeuse, one of the brightest stars, at approximately 8:17 p.m. Eastern Time. Paul Gatchalian will tell us why.
The red supergiant star Betelgeuse, located about 700 light-years away, will be momentarily hidden from view tonight, December 12, around 8:17 p.m. Eastern Time, as the asteroid named Leona passes between Earth and the star. This rare occultation will be visible at its best in specific areas including Mexico, southern Florida, Spain, Italy, Greece, Turkey, and Central Asia. It will last only 10 to 15 seconds, creating a ring of fire similar to an annular solar eclipse. Gianluca Massi, an astronomer and astrophysicist at the Bellatrix Astronomical Observatory in Italy, explains that occultations are not uncommon, but it is extremely rare for an asteroid to completely obscure the light of a first-magnitude star like Betelgeuse. This occurrence happens only once every few decades. The occultation will provide insights into asteroid Leona's size and Betelgeuse's mysterious dimming episodes in 2019 and 2020, causing scientists to question regarding the possibility of the giant star undergoing a supernova explosion. This event will serve as a preview of the future of our night skies, where Betelgeuse, estimated to be about 10 million years old, will eventually explode into a supernova and disappear permanently. Paul Gatchalian, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I'm Kathy Navarro, live from Vietnam. Good evening.
Private and public schools gathered in partnership with the Department of Education at the Philippine International Convention Center, marking a crucial step towards strengthening the quality of education in public schools with the collaborative assistance of private institutions. Department of Education Assistant Secretary Francis Bringas emphasized the pivotal role that private schools can play in enhancing public education. He underscored the significant contributions in terms of facilities and quality of teaching that private schools can bring to the table. This collaboration aims to address challenges such as overcrowding in public school classrooms, ensuring a conducive learning environment for all students.
Yeah, presently, marami tayong mga learners na hindi na-accommodate ng public schools who are now in the private schools and they are subsidized by the government. Meron tayong subsidy dyan and hopefully with the framework and kung ma-operationalize na natin ang framework, magkakaroon ng greater access ang ating mga learners to be in the private schools as well para ma-address natin yung congestion in the public schools and at the same time hindi lang yon para yung ating mga learners and their families will have a choice. Gusto namin sa public school, gusto namin sa private school, they will get the same quality of education, they will have the same access to all the resources.
Thank you very much, Senator Gatchalian.
Gatchalian, chair of the Committee on Basic Education, highlighted the importance of a complementary framework, emphasizing that private schools will be actively involved in the formulation of national policies. However, Senator Gatchalian expressed concerns regarding the budget allocated for the Department of Education's Learning Recovery Plan in 2024. The 2.9 billion pesos, he argued, may fall short of the actual requirements to effectively implement the recovery plan.
More importantly, paggawa ng polisiya dahil dito sa framework, kasama ang mga private school natin sa national policy. So, ang ibig sabihin, paggagawa tayo ng education policy, ang boses ng mga private schools natin, pakikinggan rin natin at magiging buo yung paggagawa natin ng education policy. So maghahanap kami ng ibang sources within the budget, for example, contingency funds or other funds na pwede natin gamitin para sa learning recovery. Meron naman ngayon pero hindi sapat, 2.9 billion ang budget sa learning recovery.
Arca Sangbahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with the word giving glory to God. From the book of John, chapter 15, verse 13 to 14, it says, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you." And those are the reasons behind the news December 12, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Marvy Delfin, live from Australia. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Baka ano na yung vessel na gagamitin natin next time, baka maganda rin yung medyo pwedeng mag-stealth mode o kaya medyo yung fishing vessel na sanay din dito sa area na ito. And that's something that we're considering. Basta ang mahalaga sa atin, this is an inaugural civilian supply mission. Tuloy-tuloy tayo kasi anumang mangyari, hindi tayo magpapatinag sa China.
Tama naman yung ginawa nilang recourse. Ang importante, at least nag-avail sila nung tinatawag na legal process base sa kung ano yung pine-prescribe ng ating mga umiiral na patakaran. Although ang aming desisyon ay executory, syempre nasa Korte Suprema naman kasi yan. Kung talagang bigla mag-issue ng temporary restraining order o anumang klaseng order, tatalima naman ng COMELEC.
I believe 2024 will allow us again to revisit the whole issue of the Constitution because I think it's timely that we revisited, and I said we'd like to focus very much on the economic provisions. But even to get there, we have to look at the procedural aspects of the amendment of the Constitution. So we have to tackle that.
Paghahanda ng kanyang pagkain, paglilinis o paglalaba ng kanyang mga damit, pero pati pagpapaligo sa kanya at saka pagmamasahe sa kanya. At sila daw ay inoobligang magkaroon ng sexual relations kay Kibuloy.
Ang ginagawa po ni Senator Risa Ontiveros ay isang panlilinlang. Siya ay aking hinahamon, kung tingin mo matibay ang iyong mga testigo, makatotohanan ng sinasabi nila, bakit hindi mo dalhin sa hukuman kung saan patas ang laban, may due process? Bakit gusto mo sa Senado ang paglilitis? Sapagkat sa Senado, lamang na lamang ka, agrabyado kami. Ito ay bahagi ng pattern ng panggigipit, panghaharas sa SMNI at sa mga kawani nito, sa Kingdom of Jesus Christ at kay Pastor Kibuloy.
Para sa akin, I should be more professional in asserting my arguments, but in a situation kung saan nilulupig at binubusalan ka at kinagamitan ka ng weight ng kapangyarihan, ay hindi po pwedeng makontrol mo ang emosyon mo. Kaya doon ako naghingi ng sorry. But I did not retract, I will not retract nang sinasabi ko ngayon sa inyong harap na may source man o wala ang mamamahayag, may soto lo man o wala, ang dapat katungkulan ng Kongreso at ng lahat ng mamamayan o lahat na nasa pamahalaan, including the President, including the lowest official of the land, is to be transparent.
My expectations were when you fight kasi the CPP, NPA, NDF, you have no expectations. You just embrace it and you just jump. And we were very ready to spend our holidays here away from our family.
According dun sa confession niya, in the presence of his lawyer, ninarrate niya yung incident na together with his co-accused, pumunta sila dun sa bahay at accordingly nagbigay na ng one initial na payment in the amount of 20,000. Tapos nagantay na lang sila ng instruction until yung nangyari yung incident kung saan sumakay sila ng bus tapos yun nakita natin sa video na in-execute na nila yung plano nila.